Professor Dimitrios Buhalis is Head of Department of Tourism and Hospitality, Director of the eTourism Lab, and Deputy Director of International Center for Tourism and Hospitality Research in Barcelona University in England. His research area is carrying across a number of disciplines and is looking into adoption of innovations for creating value for both consumers and organizations. His current research focus includes smart tourism, social media context, mobile marketing, augmented reality, experience management, and personalization, reputation, and social media strategies. Dimitrios is also the immediate past president of the International Federation for Information Technologies in Travel and Tourism. Dimitrios, the stage is yours.
Gracias. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for staying until 6 o'clock for me. It'll be fun, I hope. We're going to spend some time looking into some interesting things. Fantastic to be back in FET. I've been coming to Barcelona for about 25 years, and I've worked with FET in the past, and with Maria we're going back a long time. But before I start, I'd like to pay tribute to a very good friend, Oriol, who is not with us. Oriol, this is a picture we took last time I was here, 2 years ago. And Oriol, being Oriol, he took me to, how do you pronounce that? Your part? For Cava. And they taught me how to open a bottle of champagne in the perfect kind of way. This was his last lesson. We spent the day together, and he said, I'm going to win this. And he believed it. And I'm really sentimental that he's not longer with us. He's a good friend. And he actually did a lot of stuff on tourism technology. We met here in 1999, we organized the 2000 Enter in Barcelona, and since then we've always been doing together things. So the smart tourism special issue that we did with Oriol and a couple of other guys is coming up in Tourism Review very, very soon. So he is looking at us from somewhere. So this is how they normally dress me. I escaped today. And this is my university in Bournemouth. This is where you find a lot of information about us. This is my books, please buy them. For every book you buy, I get a cerveza. It works like that. And this is my journal, the Tourism Review. Tourism Review is the oldest journal in tourism. We're going to celebrate 75 years in 2020. So we have the 73 volume. And a lot of the papers I have today, I'd like to see them as papers in Tourism Review. And this is the TTRA Europe that we're organizing in Bournemouth in April. I very much look forward to see you there. And this is some of the events that we organize from here until then, so come along there. So all that's the marketing thing. So, a lot of people are talking about smart tourism, but they don't understand smart or tourism. So I'd like to bring a little bit back some coherence on these things. So why do we do tourism? We do tourism to bring benefits to destinations. And we bring benefits to destinations by bringing competitive advantage and by differentiating the destination and by engaging customers in a value co-creation process that enables us to maximize the value that's created for everybody. What we're trying to do is we're trying to optimize resources that we're putting into the destination in order to maximize the benefits that we get out of the tourism activity. These are fundamental things, but quite often we forget the fundamentals. This is something I did about 20 years ago, which is really about the tourism system in the middle, from travel generating region, tourism destination region, and the transit region. And then you've got all the market forces, you've got all the exogenous variables, and then you start looking into what resources did you use in order to create tourism. What investment, what people, what human capital, what kind of things, what environmental resources, what socio-cultural resources, what knowledge and things like that you got in, and what are the benefits and the value for the stakeholders. And we're saying at the time that you need to maximize the return on investment for the resources utilized. In a lot of tourism that we see around the world, we don't see return on investment equitable return on investment utilized. And then this is a paper that's probably the most cited paper in tourism, that's in 2000, that says that all the stakeholders, they are trying to move this wheel in order to maximize their benefits. So this is the basic stuff that we need to understand before we talk about tourism and before we talk about smartness. And I'm an old guy, I've been around for 30 years. I've been coming here for 20. Time life moves. I started like that with the Kodak. I used to be a photographer, so that's quite significant. And tourism information at the time was kind of that, was very analog. You had the Lonely Planet, you had the Tourism Information Office, and you had a lot of paper in there. In a lot of places, it's still like that. That's my first computer. Macintosh, with no hard drive. And then I designed something that's called RISIMS, Regional Integrated Computer Information Reservation Management System. This is the first smart tourism system that's ever been designed in the world, and it's probably the basis for all the destination management systems around. And at the time, we're talking about 88, 89, most of you were not born, and I'm really jealous, but at that time, the only technology that we had as a network was GDSs, and we're trying to piggyback on GDSs. So that system that we call the Yale, because it was in Greece, it started looking into the 6 A's, the attraction, accessibilities, amenities, available packages and ancillary services, and trying to bring them all together in order to maximize the utilization of the inventory, how we manage destinations. And this is my attempt to develop a destination, a dynamic packaging system where you get different things and you match them dynamically, or you buy them as a package, or you create them through artificial intelligence, and all of that is creating a product down here, and then you are going to a destination, and then there's a feedback loop. That is the publication in '93. So the research started in '89, it finished in '91, and this is the publication in '93. Dynamic packaging in '93, right? We didn't have the internet at the time. Why am I saying this? Because nothing is new. Okay, everything has been around for a long time. If you read this article, you realize that 25 years later, we haven't implemented the basic stuff. We keep going around talking about these things, but we haven't implemented it. I'm not going to use all the slides because I've got about 200 and I think you'd like to go home sometime tonight. But it's really about understanding how all of those things are coming together. We've had 40 years of evolution in technology. And there are a lot of things here that they've changed. 1990, the internet, 2005, Amazon. Does anybody remember living without a mobile phone? I got my first mobile phone when I was 30 years old. A lot of those things are quite new. This is the stuff I was using. Does anybody remember the Kodak Instamatic? With the little film, unbelievable. I made Kodak very, very rich for a period of time. I used to consume about 20 films like that every day. That used to be my camera. At some stage I had this Nokia, then I moved into the BlackBerry. What do all these things have got in common? They disappeared. And why did they disappear? Anybody who's got a Nokia phone here? Anybody who's got a BlackBerry? Come on, be my hero. Yay, we need to talk. So, a lot of these things have disappeared, and they've disappeared because technology, they have not moved with technology and what we're doing. So what's happening is technology is driven by consumers that they like personalized services, contextualized and engaging, co-creation of experience, instant gratification, sharing of experience, and they like that before they travel, during and after. Barbara has been talking to you about experiences, and we've spent a lot of time working with her on her PhD and developing those things, and it's really about the customer really wants those kind of things to enable them. The product for me, please. Not the product for everybody else, but I like it the way I like it. Can you please provide that to me? And we find a lot of new challenges and new issues. The kids are playing with their phone, the old guys, they're going back to kissing. I don't know. There are a lot of things like that happening. which are changing the way we operate. So what we find in the marketplace is that there are three basic devices. You've got the mobile, you've got the tablet, and you've got the computer. All of them, they are basically remote controls of life. They control all kinds of applications. And through interoperability, interconnectivity, and something that's called the Internet of Everything, we are connecting all of those things, and we'll have about 50 billion devices connected by 2020. All of those things are working together. We've got here the customer, right in the middle, has the three types of devices. They've got all kinds of interconnected kind of machines, from cameras, from cars, mobiles, printers, whatever you like. You've got a range of different networks that they optimize themselves according to the location, according to how much they cost, according to what speed they are using. And then you've got all kinds of activities that are happening, from e-health, social connectivity, advertising, entertainment, digital comms, government, virtualization, all of those things. So we eventually have technology everywhere, anywhere, and anytime. Now, if you really want to see me distressed, you can take my mobile away for 10 minutes. You can feel it. And if you've got teenagers at home, please do that at home. You'll kind of have some fun. Because this is where we are operating now. We are working in a situation where the devices are an integral part of everything that we do. And that's coming into tourism. Now, in the past, we used to say, when I started working on technology and tourism, we really focused on bookings. Can I have a reservation system, please? Can I represent my hotel in the system? Can I represent my organization in the system? And then we start looking a little bit on the planning thing. How can you help people plan to come to Barcelona? How can you say, where is this hotel in relationship to where I'd like to go? And those kind of things. How do we have availability? Most of the information is static or dynamic. We're doing very, very well on the static information because we basically took the brochure, but we're not doing very well on the dynamic information. Increasingly, technology is changing all the tourism experience in all 5 stages. And increasingly, the most important thing will be the dreaming. How can I make you dream of Barcelona? How can I make you understand that Barcelona will answer your needs and will provide value for what you'd like to achieve? So that is one of the big things that are happening right now. And the second thing that's happening is the on-site experience. The on-site experience means that we will use technology and we'll do things while we're doing it. Increasingly, what you've got streaming. Increasingly, it's not good enough to take pictures and upload them later. Increasingly, you upload them on Twitter, you stream them live to engage with another society. The society, you've got the one virtual kind of, you've got one analog kind of thing, communication with the people who are in front of you, and then you've got a group, a social group behind you that communicates on all kind of media. And increasingly, what's happening, everything will be, the moment of truth will move here on the on-site experience. And the on-site experience, it will be broadcasted live to everybody. So here it's all the co-creation of unique experience, it's all about location-based services and the context-based services. And that is disappearing. The sharing stage is disappearing because people do not wait until they go back to look into what they've done and then upload. They do it in real time. They are storytelling about their life, they are narrating their life. Now, for those of you who are taking pictures, if you post something, please hashtag Buhalis because my mom is following where I am, because she's kind of lost where her son is. This is based on a PhD thesis that my colleague and friend did with me, John Fortis, which basically said this is the consumer behavior, and the consumer behavior is changing. Because that little bit, we had need recognition, information search, pre-purchase evaluation, purchase, consumption, post-consumption, satisfaction. Very linear kind of way. Where we're going is to a situation where exchange is happening at every stage. So information is kind of being created and exchanged before, during, after. And all that information is being consumed and prosumed at the same time. the consumer is also creating that information and sharing this information. So, surprise, surprise, I arrived in Barcelona, and I said, hey, I'm in this conference in Barcelona. A great friend of mine says, what are you doing in Barcelona? I'm in Barcelona too, let's meet tonight. Apparently it's Beaujolais Nouveau tonight, the new wine. Did he lie to me? Anyway, he promised Beaujolais Nouveau. Apparently it's the third Thursday of November. Yeah. And by the way, Maria promised cerveza gratuita later on, okay? Don't forget. That's really important. Now, when you look into what's happening in the world, and what we've actually done, this is Bournemouth. So we've taken the analog old brochure, we turned it into beautiful design kind of new brochure, and then we put everything on the website. If you see what happened in terms of what we have put on the website, it's exactly the same format. Still alphabetically, still the same kind of, I'm not going to give you any recommendation because I'm not allowed, I'm a destination management organization, and I'm not going to do that. Now Web 2 came up, and then you've got Instagram, Facebook, Instagram, whatever that is, and there's a little bit of interactivity there. But actually what happens is that we still operate in silos. This is my area, please don't touch. This is your area, please don't touch. What the customer wants is a totally different thing. So when we start talking about smart tourism, should I play this video? Okay, let me play this video. I'll catch my breath and you'll see something so you'll understand when we are talking about smartness, what we're talking about. I hope the computer is going to operate at this stage, and we're going to do a nice thing. So smartness is all about connecting all the different networks and all the different systems that enable us to improve quality of life. Because a lot of people are talking about smartness in a way that they are talking about technology. Smartness is not evolution. Smartness is revolution. It's revolution in technology and it's disruption. That is absolutely critical. It disrupts industries. It will change how we do things. It's not about evolution. It's not about doing the things that we're doing better. It's doing new things in different ways. Steve Jobs says the ones who are crazy enough to think that they'll change the world are the ones who actually do. And those of you who are here, I hope that you are very much going to be able to do that. So that's my definition of smartness, which smartness takes advantage of interconnectivity and interoperability of integrated technologies to re-engineer, process and data in order to produce innovative services, products and procedures towards maximizing value for all stakeholders. If you're a student, you may see that in your exams. This re-engineering enables shaping products, actions, processes, and services in real time. So that's the next big thing, the real time. By engaging different stakeholders simultaneously to optimize the collective performance and competitiveness and generate agile solutions and value for all involved in value chain. So my mom says, so what? And I said, smartness is about the glue of interoperable, interconnected, and mutually beneficial systems and stakeholders, and provide the infrastructure for the value co-creation for all. So, when you hear the word smartness, please promise me that you'll think about networks. Please promise me that you'll think about a lot of silos that are coming together to maximize the value that's co-created for all the stakeholders. There are a lot of slides here. I'm not going to go and explain them, but this is probably the first publication that came out on smartness, and talks about before, during, after, and talks about the different dimensions in terms of transportation, accommodation, gastronomy, attractions, and ancillary services. And what do we do with that to change things? And this is the paper we did some time ago, looking into what are the inputs to smartness. Technology is one of them. Then you've got people in terms of human capital and social capital and knowledge management. And then perhaps the most critical one is leadership. It's how leadership is changing all those things. If you've got technology, it's not good enough. It's like having the best car. If you don't know how to drive it, you're going to crash it. Then you've got the value co-creation ecosystem here with economic actors, social actors, and technological actors coming together. And they're co-creating all kinds of innovations in terms of mobility, government, economy, people living and environment. And then tourism is one layer of that, which is services and products that they are specifically addressing the needs of tourists. So this is a part of the smart city, part of the smart ecosystem that's addressing the smart tourist. Now, what is very interesting is that we are going away from the sense of the tourist who is following the yellow umbrella to temporary citizens. So tourists are becoming temporary citizens. They are there for a short period of time. As far as I'm concerned, I'm a citizen of Barcelona for the next 3 days. I need to have access to a lot of the resources that you've got, a lot of things that are happening. I know where's the best flamenco tomorrow night, and it's in a place called Jazz Sea, in Raval, and you know, I'll be living in Barcelona for the next 3 days, 72 hours. And then I'll be moving to somewhere else. I'll be going back to London, and then I'll be going to Bournemouth, and then I'll be going to Gran Canaria later in the summer, later in December. So for those periods, I need to connect, I need all my systems to engage with these things. So this is the paper. So smartness is not about automation, it's not about technology, it's not about evolution, it's not about social media, it's not about reservations. It's all about the glue of all these interoperable and interconnected systems through real-time, dynamic and adaptive, customized, individualized, contextualized, collective competitiveness and coordination, value co-creation for stakeholders. Breathe in, breathe out. Hashtag Buhalis, right? So smartness is bringing together a whole range of things, and you'll see that. We talk about networks, we talk about the Internet of Things and the Internet of Everything. We talk about sensors and beacons. These are inputs to the system. We are collecting information in real time for everything. This is big data and data analysis. This social media, Web 2 and the user-generated content, all of these pixels that you're going to upload tonight, they are geotag, time tag. We know where it's happening. And if you tag Buhalis as well, we know who is talking up there. Then there are technological enablers, and then you've got the service dominant logic that creates value co-creation of the experience by bringing all those things, blend them together, and actually deliver them. The backbone of this thing is open data and big data. And it's really about getting the data together to be able to analyze these things. And it's really about from very structured kind of technological models to new models where you've got decentralized networks that they enable digital transformation by creating networks that are flexible and they are moving like organisms in the ecosystem. They keep moving, they develop the right kind of organism to address particular moments and particular problems, and then they move on. When you look into the players, you look into the tourism players, you look into technology players, so the biggest, most critical player on smart tourism right now is mobile operators. And there are a lot of experiments that you're doing in Spain with Telefonica on how many Russian tourists are getting off a cruise ship and where do they go. So if you've got a cruise ship that's approaching Barcelona and you've got 4,000 people getting off the cruise ship and they all go to Sagrada Familia, what's going to happen? They're going to have a queue for about 5 hours, right? Nobody will have a best experience. So what we're looking into is where do tourists go? And how do we know where we go? By proxy of their mobile phone. And if I got a lot of Italians that are roaming in Barcelona, I know where the Italians are going, or where the Russians are going, or where the Germans are going. And if I know that, I can start creating and managing their experience by saying, can you please go that way, can you please do that, and actually manage the experience. That's when you don't have over-tourism, because you start looking to where people are going, what time do they go, and you start engaging them. And then you've got all kinds of governments, police, destination management, business improvement districts, utility service providers, and things like that. 2 or 3 years ago, I went to Benidorm, and I went to the police station. And I said, can I see your control room, please? And okay, I was going with some people that they knew people, and they said, yeah, okay, so I went to the Benidorm police station to look at their control room. In Benidorm, they've got something like 120 cameras that they're getting feeds from the streets, so they know what's happening. And I kept asking, is that all your input? And they say, yeah, but we've got another something like 12 cars that they're giving us. Yes, this is what's happening. And then I said, is that all you've got? No, we've got another 20 motorbikes that they're telling us. Is that everything that you do? And then they admitted that they have done a deal with the taxi drivers, and the taxi drivers, because they're on the streets and they're going around, they keep calling them every time they see something, and they say, hi, this is happening there. And then they deploy different resources. So all this input. And I said to them, who do you share this with? With bomberos. How do you do that? On the phone. This was Policía Local. Policía Nacional had a different control center. Okay, so what we've got is that kind of silos, but we need to bring all of those guys together. And we need to do that in order to create personalized and contextualized services, engage and explore, provide authentic experiences, and manage all the stages of travel, before, during, after. I talked about sensors. These are some of the sensors where we can get information from. You saw on the film as well. What is giving us real-time information on what's happening. Increasingly we'll have wearables, and wearables will also give us information. How fast does your clock move? does your watch move? How fast is your heart beating? And we're not interested in particular individuals, we're interested in the mood that's happening in the place. Social media, listening to everything that's happening, all the new information that's emerging. If you look into what's happening around Barcelona on Twitter right now, you can pretty much understand what's happening. Especially if there's a crisis, an earthquake, a fire, political crisis, you can see immediately how the mood is changing, what people are talking about. Now, in the past, someone will collect this information, analyze it, write an article, wait for tomorrow to buy the newspaper to read what happened yesterday, right? Some of us are old enough to remember these times. When's the last time you bought a newspaper? All this information is collected in real time, dynamically analyzed, and coming back to you in seconds. There's a guy called Brian Solis that says, here's the conversation priest, where you've got all kind of social media there, where people are creating user-generated content. And what happens is that we are looking, if we are to manage you is the brand, we need to listen, learn, and adapt in real time. And the way that is happening is that we are looking to all those different kind of areas where people are uploading information. We listen carefully, we engage in real time, we learn, and we co-create. Now, this has always happened, but it used to take months, years. Do you read tourism statistics? Do you get the tourism statistics? The latest statistics we get currently is 2016, 2 years old. I'm not a historian, I don't want to know what happened 2 years old. It's not of major interest. What we really want to do is to understand what's going to happen in 3 months' time, what kind of forecast do they have, how can I handle my properties, how can I engage with them. Or if there's something that is, if someone cannot get Wi-Fi in this room and writes on Twitter, Hotel Arimara great but Wi-Fi is bad, you immediately, someone does something about it in real time. I don't want that to happen in 2 years' time that I'm going to come back here. I want that to happen before I arrive, or if it needs to happen during I'm here in real time. And of course the Chinese are having different social media because the Western social media are not allowed in China, and there's a similar kind of social media landscape in China. I was in China, I was in Guilin 3 weeks ago, and this is the real-time big data collection that we are talking about. Have a look. Yeah? Everywhere I was going, I was smiling. They're taking pictures. I like this is my best side, right? This nice lady